You're listening to Andy Comfort
on BBC Radio Humberside.
This summer there's a government consultation which will see an update in laws governing gender recognition. Now, one of the main areas up for debate is the idea of self-identification. Essentially, many in the trans community want to make transitioning less bureaucratic, but not everybody's happy. Well, I'm joined now by Rikki Arundel, an expert in gender and transgender issues. Rikki, hello. Good evening.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thanks. What about you? Now, let's talk about self-identification.
Yeah.
Why is this a concern, then?
Well, the whole thing about the gender, I got my gender recognition done back in 2006, not long after it all started. And then it made a difference because that would have meant I could get married. It meant I could get retire early, which I did. I got my state pension as soon as I got to 60. Now, retirement ages have been pushed on, and the value and importance of this of gender recognition isn't so much there. What the government found in some research, they did a huge bit of research recently with the LGBT community, biggest ever done in the world, and what they found was that only about a third of trans people have bothered to do the gender recognition. And when they started to find out and talk to them about that, what they're getting is that people said, it isn't worth it, it's too bureaucratic, it takes way too long. And there's a whole bunch of problems. In fact, there's 10 issues that are being come up. And they're saying, well, we need to have a look at that and change it. The moment they did that 2 years ago when they first started this process, a bunch of people said, oh, no, that means you're going to have men going to change their gender to women, and they're going to wander and sit around in female toilets and abuse women. So we've got this big battle that's going on at the moment, which is people who think that somehow men will use this as a loophole to be able to access women's spaces. There's no evidence of it happening, but that's the challenge that's going on.
So this has caused a bit of a divide, then, hasn't it, between the trans community and feminist groups?
It's not just feminist groups.
Right.
It's radical feminist groups on one part. There are some religious groups who've always had a big objection, and brought into the middle of this have been parents of children. Because one of the issues that's been talked about here is, why is it 18? You can't get your gender legally changed until 18. What about 16-year-olds? And what about children who are growing up and saying, I don't want to be, by 3 or 4, 5, 10, they're insisting on living in a new gender, but they can't legally have the gender changed. So their birth certificate will always show, until they get a gender change, it's only the birth certificate that gets changed with gender recognition. So,
and was it 2006? You said I
did mine 2006.
So what was the process like for you?
Well, the problem is they said you don't have to have surgery to have gender change. That's the important thing. It's not about changing your body. It's actually about changing your legal identity. You don't have to have surgery, but have to have 2 doctors support this, one of which are gender specialists, confirm that you've got gender dysphoria, talk about what surgery you have and haven't had. So all of these medical reports have to go in. And then they say, well, you don't actually need to have done that. So what we're arguing is, well, if you don't need it, why do we have to produce it? Why do we have to go through all these hoops, get all this support, convince all these doctors to produce all these reports for us, pay for them a lot of the time, when actually it's irrelevant?
So this weekend, we'll see Whole Pride. Now, is this going to be discussed, or is it going to be a bit of an issue, do you think, even there?
Well, what happened 2 weeks ago at London Pride is a group of 8 radical feminists with very transphobic banners and leaflets and things got to the front of the London Pride, and London Pride said, no, you can't join in, only those people who've booked. So they said, right, we're going to lie down in front and stop the parade. So they eventually were allowed to walk in front of the parade. Well, this has really, really kicked off a stink. Manchester's already said, you come to Manchester, we will stop you. I don't know. I'm hoping that we don't have a problem in Hull, but we've got a bigger parade than last year this year, so we will see.
So would you like them to have followed London's lead, Manchester's lead, and said, no, we'll stop you?
We have to say, no, this is not. You cannot be transphobic, or any. You can't be phobic. You can't actually be a bigot at an event which is celebrating diversity. I don't care if they happen to be lesbian or gay or whatever. If they're being negative towards a minority group, that's against the law in this country, and we fought like mad for those rights. We cannot allow somebody then to say, oh yeah, well, it doesn't matter on this case because we're already lesbian, so we can argue. No, doesn't work. Yeah, if you want to be transphobic, go away.
Okay, I don't know how you solve it, but how would you solve it?
Well, if they are actually breaking the law, then we have to get the police involved to actually remove them. If somebody is, just as exactly if somebody was being racist with big racial banners up, anti-Islamic banners, they would be stopped in exactly the same way for that. It's no different. It has to be treated as a hate crime.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Let's hope it passes off peacefully.
Hope so.
Rikki, thank you very much indeed for your time. Thanks for
Pleasure.
Rikki Arundel there. It is 20 to 6.